Welcome to the Money Vikings Podcast, where we conquer financial freedom. Join Greg, Jerry, and Bob as they discuss everything investing and personal finance. The Money Vikings Podcast is hosted by three dads who are doing what they can each day to burn down debt and build wealth. Learn the path to true wealth. Their podcast and website, moneyvikings.com, is a treasure trove of ideas. So without further ado, here they are, the Money Vikings.
Oh, COVID, you suck. And how can we be healthier for superior immune systems and investing? Let's get Vikings strong for 2022. All this and much more on the Money Vikings Podcast number 61. Bob, Jerry, how you doing?
Good, man.
I'm glad to have you guys back. It was I don't know if you heard my last podcast. It was just like
I thought you
me
did
rambling and ranting about trades and
I don't know, Jerry.
I
lost my voice. Oh, thank you.
You have a very nice radio voice. So.
I have a very nice editor that takes out a lot of ums and and whoops, well, hey, I didn't mean that.
Thanks for holding down the fort. I hope you and everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. To me, Frank, I think you guys know this about me, but Thanksgiving, I like Thanksgiving a lot. And to me, it's a cornerstone of a wealthy life because we're being grateful, right, for all the blessings we may experience. And we have to keep that perspective, I think, in mind as we are on this journey of managing money and finances and life. You got to be grateful for what you have because we live in a world where, you can get on a plane, you get on this like flying tube through space and you travel thousands of miles, in a few hours. And the guy next to you can be like, God, the Wi-Fi's out. This is such BS. And you're like, sir, like, do you realize what you're saying? Like
as you're sitting on a chair, hovering.
You're sitting on a chair in a, flying through space.
A contraption.
Yeah, and you're like, for 5 minutes, I don't have all the world's knowledge at my fingertips. Complete nonsense.
Where's my peanuts and water?
We gotta be.
Get some perspective. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Get some perspective, guys. Anyway, speaking of perspective, so Black Friday, came and went. That's the big shopping day. Online sales were only 8.9 billion compared to 9 billion last year. So losers.
Wow. Losers, kind of like Apple's earnings.
I don't know. This stuff to me is so crazy because you're like 8.9 billion versus 9. That's how the market will react. I mean, but people returned in mass to the shopping malls. It was up 47% from last year, which probably isn't a surprise.
Because I want to see what those numbers look like from 2019, right? So I guess what does it look like compared to 2019?
It's still down from pre-pandemic levels.
Okay,
but there was a lot of people wanting to get out and be out of their houses, that holiday spirit, being out shopping. So that was kind of cool. But I don't know. I mean, I guess the big thing we got to talk about. Well, first of all, one last thing I want to say about Thanksgiving. So thankful to our premium members. So shout out to everybody. The community is just really forming and we're having a great time helping each other. But if you want to join, it's TMVLISTEN, TMVLISTEN, all capitals, and you get 30% off. So
your
if
first
you want
month.
to join us. Yeah. So there you go. But guys, we got to talk about it. So let's talk about the market here. Omnicrap variant is spreading. And that the market did not like COVID, right?
Well, that's I don't know if everybody says they're correlated, so I guess they have to be. But some
all the
people
cool kids are doing it.
Some people think that it was just an excuse to sell things that they wanted to sell, not necessarily because of that. I mean, we don't even know that the virus is not handled by the vaccines that already exist. We won't know for a couple more weeks. So I think that's the scary part.
Right.
That's true.
Here's the thing: I will say is that I understand the reactiveness to it because there's always these fears of going back into a lockdown. Consumerism, in a way, goes away. Like certain things happen, And we still have that bottleneck, right? That's going on in our pipeline. That's for distribution, manufacturing and distribution. And so it's like, is there the potential of us compounding onto that? Or is it the potential that we see these weird gaps because we're still trying to manage the bottleneck that's happened from, turning the faucet back on.
Mm-hmm.
We turn it off again. People are going to try, getting into a normal lifestyle or what they feel is a normal lifestyle. And all of a sudden it's that gap in time where there's going to be another,
Mm-hmm.
5 years for it. Another wave for shits.
I mean, aren't you, Bob? I'm more optimistic that we know more now. We have the tools.
Definitely.
We know how to manage this. You know what I mean? It's so, and then, go ahead. Sorry.
The market tends to overcorrect on these things. And then I'm hoping next week it sort of bounces back. And the news media is not doing us any services right now. I mean, what sounds more clickbaity to you? SPY drop 2.3%. Or the Dow gap down 900 points.
Mm-hmm.
So destructive. Yeah, it's just like the end of the world. Right. It's so overblown. I'm with you. And to add to what you're saying, Jerry, it's Moderna. I read this morning, Moderna says that they can have a vaccine tailored to the new variant out by early 2022. So like there's just like solutions around the corner to things. And but like you said, we don't even know what any of this means. So
I mean, there could be an asteroid headed towards the Earth right now that we may or may not know about. Should we freak out about that? I mean, come on, get some. There's things we can control and things we can't control, and let's just move on with our lives and do the best we can. This for long-term investors, this is an opportunity. If you think this is the bottom. If you don't, take your time, see what happens, give yourself a few days or weeks to kind of see where this goes.
I think we're going to see, going into this next week, we are going to see another 1 or 2 days of this sort of movement, just because the force and the size of that kind of red candle, the gap down and stuff like that we saw on Friday. And Friday was even a short day. Short trading day, right? And we saw that. I think that momentum is going to carry into the first couple days of the week, but I think it's going to also work out next week as well. I don't feel like it's
didn't we kind of see it start to recover right before the market
at the
closed?
end of it, but I just don't. I don't know. I don't. Looking at the pattern, but also looking how the prices compare to like moving averages, I think it's going to go down and test before it goes on to recovery.
Okay.
And keep an eye on it. We're still talking about like sky high valuations, right?
We are.
Right. Like everything is really pretty high.
Right.
I don't know if this would be a good play, but I was even looking into Palantir recently because I was reading that they have, their software is pretty amazing, but they have predictive models that can tell that maybe could look at where the virus is going next. So I don't know. It's like another kind of play. I
have Palantir listed in our metaverse list.
Nice.
They're gonna be big for the metaverse too.
Huh.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, I'll throw it on my wall. I've been in and out of it and haven't really done much with it lately. I'll give it another look.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's, so here's the backdrop too. I mean, there's, I read that Jeremy Grantham is a legendary investor and really a pioneer of index funds. He's a pretty old guy at the moment, but he's, his perspective is kind of this along the lines of, we're just like way late in this bull run. And, he says, when the decline comes, it will perhaps be bigger and better than anything previous in U.S. history. Now these are the billionaires that, the Dr. Doom billionaires that Kramer is always like, hey, take them with a grain of salt. But he did predict the .com collapse and the 2008 real estate meltdown. So he's manages $60 billion in assets, but he's going to safe quality stocks. He's going to stuff like United Health and Coca-Cola. He says that will be fine, but he thinks a big drop is coming. But we don't know, right? It's just managing risk.
And like I always say, and like I always say, we design our portfolios with diversification, so we don't have to make sudden crazy moves when these things happen. This is part of it. You've got your bonds, you've got your infrastructure. You've got your not so sexy things that will probably do. You know what's doing really good is steel. Steel is doing great. Look at X. Look at Nucor.
I think a lot of it's probably around infrastructure, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that would make sense. That would make sense. That would make sense. So
I think the it's always that challenge is when you have it's the people that want to be those traders, that want to be the day traders and swing traders and whatnot. That's where the uncertainty of the market's going to cause problems. And so it's where we're talking about these things. Like, we talk about Lucid, we talk about Rivian, we talk about Pave, we talk about we talk about the REITs, these things that actually have a glide path and the future outlook that looks very promising, right?
Yes.
And that's where it's like, okay, guys, everybody wants to hodl and be the next Wall Street Bets billionaire, but you gotta, it's not an everyday reality. And so
you're absolutely right, Bob. Those are the folks that are going to get in trouble because they're going to try to time the market. And like Jerry's saying, diversity is key, because you don't have to worry about comments like this, because if it does take the big dip, your portfolio and your overall assets are going to be, you know what I mean? They're going to be secured somehow. But who knows? I mean,
but here's the beauty of it, though, is that, and hey, Jerry, this is gonna be a page out of your book, is that you guys invest, right? And invest in a stock that is going to have longevity. And when the market starts to do the correction, you have a perfect opportunity to sell calls against it and average down. Sell calls against your position and average down. If you feel like you got in too late in the game and you're taking a hit, sell calls. And that will add up over time.
Yeah, a couple of things I did too on that Friday, Black Friday, was I actually bought to close a couple calls. I had copper and silver, COPX miners and SLV silver. Yeah. Those I have 100 shares, and I've just been selling calls against them over and over and over again for like a year or more now. And they declined enough that, and it was weird because you don't really expect that in a those are kind of more flight to quality types of things, but nevertheless they went down. So I bought to close my calls for cheap and made some profits on those. And as soon as the markets get back to where they need to be, I'll continue opening new ones out in January again. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Loving it. Well, given the COVID news, guys, is one of our main topics today. Perhaps it's time to double down on our efforts to improve our health and our immune systems, because I do believe, I do believe that is, they talk about with all this COVID stuff, you have layers of protection, right? Layers of risk management. And that can be the vaccine, that can be a mask, that can be being outside, that can be all these different things, right? But you can still go on with your life. But one of them where you can really go on with your life is improving your immune system. Now, we are not doctors. We just play doctors on TV, on daytime TV, in fact.
Yes.
But I did read a book called SUPERLIFE by Darin Olien out in California. And I just found it really awesome, this book. Don't know the guy, just came across the book randomly. It's been out for a few years. It's not new. But in it, he talks about 5 areas to focus on for maximum health. Bob thinks the first one is milkshakes and hamburgers.
Yes.
So that's
because they bring all the boys to the yard.
So this guy, it is interesting. He had all kinds of, at first I kind of picked up the book and I thought, I was like, who is this guy? He probably had perfect health his whole life, hasn't had any problems. Now he's writing some book. But he didn't. That wasn't the case. He had all kinds of health problems as a child. And at one point, he had seen like an infomercial for like the grapefruit diet. And he's not saying that you should be on the grapefruit diet, but he started eating grapefruit. And he's like, it's so weird. I realized that what I ate made me feel better,
Right.
Yeah.
So weird. Crazy concept.
People don't know. I mean,
people don't
a lot of people that
70% of your results come from diet, not necessarily from exercising. People
there you go, man. Yeah.
It's a crazy concept. I will tell you. Let me add this real quick though.
Yeah.
For those out there in the world that suffer from kidney stones, grapefruit is not your best friend. That will actually cause problems for you. So just know that.
Got it. You would know from experience.
Yeah, I would know from experience. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I'm so glad that's never happened to me. Knock on wood.
Oh God, I know. Well, here, Bob, here's some ideas for you. These will help manage your kidney stones. But he talks about 5 forces of nutrition and health. And so the first thing is nutrition, right? And so the book goes into all the different ways that proper nutrition helps us out. And really the idea is stuff that people are hearing a lot now. Reduce the refined sugars, right?
Yeah.
Reduced if the food comes with like a barcode packaging and it's been highly processed, well, that means it's been stripped of all the nutrients. You're just getting empty calories, you're just getting sugar, and you're not getting all the vitamins and the minerals that make all of our cells function properly. So
think about and here's another thing for longevity and mental health is that people understand is that there's the link of sugar to dementia and Alzheimer's. It creates a sort of plaque in the brain and the receptors. So think about your mental health when you're talking about sugar and among many other things. But another thing to think about.
Well, you're going to love this quote, and this is what really captured me in the book, and I think I even shared it with our members. But he said, if we ate our broccoli and quinoa and salads and berries, almonds, and drank our water and green tea and took long, vigorous hikes and got enough sleep, we might feel great, but who would profit? Nobody. What kind of system is that? And that hit me like a 2x4. I just thought that was a great quote, right?
Well, you wouldn't profit monetarily, but health-wise, you would, right?
But it's more of the concept of who would profit from you if that was the case, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't have the fast food industry. You wouldn't have the exercise or you know what I mean. Or the pharmaceutical. Let's face it, the pharmaceutical industry, right? And he was trying to make the point that a lot of the pharmaceuticals are derived from plants and derived from natural sources. Now, I'm not against pharmaceuticals, and people should take their medication prescribed by their doctors, but if there's a way to clean up the diet and to get off some of this stuff, what a benefit to the pocketbook and health,
Totally.
So he goes into that. So that's the first one. And it's, this isn't rocket science, people. I mean, if it's something that's grown from the earth and is natural, it's probably good for us. So, he talks about blueberries, avocados, beans, prunes, spices such as cinnamon and turmeric, garlic, pure chocolate, bananas, squash, onions. I mean, I could list foods here for an hour, but I won't. But I think we all know what is, when we're eating a food, or eating a salad versus some processed junk, we know what's good for us,
G-bombs.
The G-bombs, right? That was a great, we put an article out on that. There was a doctor that came up with that.
Is that garlic, onions?
Yeah,
I forget the other ones.
Berries.
Put you on the spot here.
Yeah,
mushrooms.
Mushrooms for sure.
No, really, mushrooms one of my favorites.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of like the hallucinogenic. Sorry.
No, just have a salad, Bob.
Normal mushrooms.
So here's the second one he talks about that. Again, I think people chronically get this wrong, but he talks about hydration. I mean, there are a lot of people that are chronically dehydrated, and he talks about how your system and your cells cannot function properly if you're constantly dehydrated. So, it's not only about getting water, but then avoiding overconsumption of things that dehydrate us, like alcohol and overconsumption of coffees and other things.
Yeah.
So
hydration is huge. Cool. It's huge for allowing nutrients and so many other things to actually have connectivity and to flow through the body and to have, it's a big component to gut health, talking about good bacteria in your gut that can actually lead to issues overall in your body. So, very important.
I think that, Bob, I'm glad you brought up that gut bacteria thing, because as an adult, that was one of the biggest things that I learned as an adult about health that I'd never heard of. That would just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Had to say blow my mind on the show.
Trademark phrase.
trademark phrase.
Loving it.
But gut health, people have got to read up on that because it's fascinating. We have all these microbiomes and these bacteria in us that are actually good for us. And actually, if you have more of the good ones, they help us destroy the bad bacteria and the coronavirus and the other things that are trying to attack us.
Yeah.
So
it kind of makes you feel in a way, you're mentally very prepared and you're just alert and ready. It's kind of like being Neo in the Matrix. Resurrection coming out in theaters in December.
Any day now.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Sorry. You're welcome.
Thank you for getting that in. Yeah. So hydration, that's another one we really need to focus on. So the next one is oxygenation. And I hadn't thought a lot about this one, but oxygen's another thing where a lot of people, they're really, it's like they're not really consciously breathing, or they're not taking the time to really oxygenate their body. And I don't mean hyperventilate. So don't go out there, people, and overdo it. But, practicing healthy breathing techniques, being aware of the breath as we go through our day at times, I think it calms our central nervous system down, and it oxygenates the bloodstream the way it needs to be done. So there's another one that, again, just having, I think, this consciousness of it allows us to be a little healthier. So
take that's why I always say take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Getting oxygen in your system.
Let's do it now. Everybody in the audience. Let's just
rub your ears, rub your earlobes.
It's just slow.
That felt better.
Right? You. Don't you feel better?
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Just take
much better.
Take a moment. Take a breath. It's okay.
It's good balance.
Yeah. Okay. So here's one I didn't like. So no, I'm kidding, because you'll know why. He talks about alkalization. Okay. So the alkali versus acidity factor in our system. And I guess we're supposed to be a little bit on the alkaline side. We need a balance, right?
Yeah.
But we need our pH balance, and we don't want to be too acidic, is what I understand. And unfortunately, coffee adds to acidity. And I was like, damn it. I really love coffee.
I mean, I'm on like my 4th cup today, unfortunately.
Well, research later, Jerry, how to create a little balance in your alkaline pH later on. And I think part of it is hydration, right, Bob? Because water has alkaline properties, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. It has to do with the overall issues you can have with your health when you're acid reflux, right? Being too acidic, acid reflux. There's other things that has an impact on your internal organs. Blood, it has an impact on blood, the way it's coagulating and moves through your body, the way electrolytes carry. So being too acidic can actually cause those problems. Breathing issues. So yeah, I get it. It makes sense. But I will say there's also other studies out there and arguments that coffee is actually really healthy for you, granted within moderation,
right?
But it has great qualities to it when you're not adding in a bunch of sugar and creams and whatnot.
That's what I'm hanging my hat on.
Cup of diabetes.
Throwing in some cinnamon and turmeric.
There you go.
Yeah,
right.
We get this thing.
Yeah,
on.
last time I read about coffee, it was good for you. It switches every few years.
Right.
What's the latest on chocolate? Chocolate's good now, right?
I think it's all
the dark chocolate.
You said cacao is good, right?
Yeah, Bob's onto it. It's good for us in the purest form, right? We can get. So if it, the venti frappuccino at Starbucks is not a good coffee, but if you're getting a black cup of coffee, maybe with a splash of milk, but you're not adding a bunch of creamers and sugars, I think it's a health food. In fact, it's an antioxidant. Yeah.
So the dark chocolates has components of it. It's healthy.
Yeah.
In moderation.
So it's good stuff, guys. The fifth one is detoxification. He talks about. So he talks about this concept that you do think about. We unfortunately, because of the way of modern life, with all its benefits, and we have a lot of benefits of modern life, but modern life, has a lot of chemicals, right? People are using, there's chemicals in cars, there's chemicals in the air, there's pollution in the water sometimes. There's there's cleaning products that have things in them that aren't good for us,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I mean? So because of that, he says you got to be aware of detoxifying your system. And so that's just another thing I would read up on and study or what are those ways? And a lot of it, I think, does go back to nutrition and exercise and hydration. I think those, having organic foods, exercising, hydrating, I think that actually naturally detoxifies the body, right?
Yeah.
So, this stuff is like reminders, right? I like to research this stuff to keep myself, to like get myself back on track. Does that make sense? Because I go in and out of, like I'll be pretty healthy for a while. And then it's like, oh man, I kind of, don't quite do the right things. But that's life, I think, for everyone. I don't think anybody's doing everything perfectly. But if we can kind of like get ourselves back on track, just like with investing, right? Sometimes we go off a little bit, spend a little too much money, make a few bad investments. But if we can kind of like get ourselves back to basics,
do a little reset.
I think it's good.
I'll tell you guys, this past week, I was out of town. We were out of town for Thanksgiving, and I was talking to Jerry about this. Is that I turned notifications off for everything, and so I do apologize to anybody who may have been trying to reach me. Especially the premium members. Is that it's something even I do it, and we need to do those things to really kind of honor ourselves and show the appreciation for ourselves and our own time, but also we need it to really do those kind of course corrects.
I'm glad you did that, Bob. And I think it's actually a benefit to you and your family and our members, and especially to Jerry and I, who have to take your crap all the time.
Right? Seriously. Not a little whiny bee,
No, I mean, my hat's off to you for that. There's a lot of wisdom in sometimes just, shutting down for a week, because you're going to come back so much stronger, feeling like you've replenished the well. And you're going to be better for everyone. It's not a selfish thing to do that. So I think that's great. Right. My hat's off to you. Exactly. Yeah, that's really cool. So I'm going to take the next 2 weeks off, by the way. So
nice. All right.
No, I'm not. I'm back in the saddle.
Love it.
No, I think it's great, guys. And I think just the motivation that we help each other out with and our members, like we all are motivating each other to live a wealthier and healthier life. And that's ultimately the goal here. That's the idea. I mean, who wants to go through life and not like let's just help each other out to be the best we can be, and to be as wealthy and strong and healthy as we can. Things go off course sometimes. That's the nature of the world, but we can at least give it a good effort.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we can control what we put in our bodies, so we're better parents, we're better people, we're better investors, everything.
Totally. Jerry, I think you're honest in it. I think it is tied to investing. Because when we are healthier, we're thinking more clearly, right? And I think there's been studies that have been done. It's kind of a psychological money trick, but when we are healthier and relaxed and less stressed out, I think we have better impulse control in terms of investing, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that all plays a part in our overall success. So that's it, guys. We're not doctors, so again, go see your doctor. We're not giving you health advice, but this is a great book. I would check it out. He's not a doctor either, but I think it's a well researched book, and we're not connected to him in any way. We're not getting money for this. It's just good stuff we're coming across, sharing it with people. So any trade ideas for next week, guys, before we wrap up?
I'm kind of managing a few that are on my watch list. Actually, I'm in an F-cell trade right now. I was looking at that potential cup and handle formation that Bob called out a week or two ago. So just keeping an eye on that. I have a bullish call spread on that. Hit me up on Discord if you want more info on that, or Twitter, whatever. Went long XRT. That didn't pan out so well, just with the Black Friday. But I think it may recover. And I've also got a bullish TAN spread on right now. That's a ETF. It's got Enphase in it. Yeah, it's got
good solar play, good long-term solar.
Yeah. I've got about a month left in that one, so hopefully it perks up again. And then I've been experimenting with pairs trades. I've been shorting QQQ, long IWM. I've been long the 30-year, short the 10-year. So just kind of letting those play out and see where they land. So it's It's kind of fun,
Nice,
interesting
nice.
engagement trades there.
Yeah.
Good stuff, guys. Well, let's see what happens tomorrow. We'll see you guys in Discord, right? And we'll check this
love
out.
it.
Yeah, very good. I think Jerry might be tied up, but Bob will talk to our members and pick it back up.
In it. Back in it.
All right, guys. Have a great week, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. TMV Listen if you want to join the fun.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.